Greetings and welcome to Yarnspirations.com. I'm Mary Beth Temple for Hooked for Life, and in this video we're going to take a look at all the little skills you need to make these adorable crochet succulents. Now each of these is made differently. They have little soil pieces that you make first and stuff with stuffing. Then we have the snake plant, which is finished with wire, or the crochet succulent, which is sewn onto the soil in a coil shape to give it depth, or these cool aloe vera spikes that are crocheted, then sewn up and stuffed, so they have some really interesting texture to show. Now, to make this, you're going to need lily, sugar, and cream yarn. We used warm brown for the soil, mod green for the aloe vera, dark pine and hot green for the snake plant, and teal for the succulent, but you of course can pick some other colors if you want. You're going to need a crochet hook, size USG 6 or 4 millimeter, or size needed to obtain gauge. Now I used mine, I used a little bit bigger one in the video just because I find it easier to demo with. But you want to make sure that you have a nice firm fabric because you don't want the stuffing to be pooking out, right? You will also need a 3 1/8, which is an 8 centimeter, or 3 7/8, which is a 10 centimeter plant pot. You'll need some stuffing for the soil and the aloe vera leaves. And if you're making the snake plant, you also want to get some craft wire to make those leaves stand up nice and strong. So let's get started. The stitching for all of these pieces is very, very simple. There's always just one little tip you need to know, and I'm about to show you. So let's get started with the soil. Now the first thing you're going to want to do is make your soil, the little brown base that holds all of our plants up. We have two different sizes for you to choose from, small and large, and you can of course modify if you need to, but essentially what happens is you're going to make a bottom. This is the small size that cups up a little bit, and then you have the top. And the top and the bottom have the same number of stitches in the round, so you can sew that up very neatly. And before you finish closing it up, you can put all of your stuffing in there so it's nice and thick. I might also recommend that you not close it up completely until you sew your plant leaves on, because that way you can get in there and hide some ends and fiddle around with stuff if you need to. So I would do part of the opening, I would stuff it full of stuff, and then I would leave it open enough to get both my fingers in there with a tapestry needle to help sew down those leaves before I finished my completed project. So let's take a look at some of the leaves. Now taking a look at the aloe vera plant, this has a triangular shaped leaf, and one of the cool things about the pattern is they are all connected as you stitch. So you stitch one and then the next and then the next. And the reason that is cool is because it cuts way down on the ends you have to weave in at the end. And once again, of course, we have it written out in text. There's the aloe vera leaf, and we also have it in diagram form. So I've done the first little bit. I did the chain 21 and single crochet and second chain from hook, blah, 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 following it till the end. This is one of those instances in which it'd be really terrific if you did your foundation work in the back or bump of the chain, just because it gives you a lovely leaf edge that won't pull in. So I'm coming up to the end of the first bit. So I have 3 more trebles to finish. 1, 2, 3. Then I'm going to turn my work and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it says right in there that that treble is going to count as a treble. So the second row says working in front loops only, treble in each of next 10 trebles. So working in the front loop. So instead of going, so I'm going to skip that first one because that chain 4 counts. but instead of going through both loops of the stitch, I'm only going in the front loop, and that is going to give me a little decorative ridge on the other side. So let's see that one more time. So again, not under both legs of the stitch, but the front leg or loop. And I'm going to follow the instructions all the way across for the second row, only working in the front loop. And how that looks on the stitch diagram is that little, see the little curves? That's telling you that you're working in the front loop on the second row and the back loop in the third row. So I'm going to go ahead and finish row 2, and then I'll meet you at row 3 so you can take a quick look at the back loop. So I'm coming up to the end of the second row. I'm still working in just the front loop. I have those 3 single crochets. And now I'm going to turn the work and chain 1. Now when I'm working that third row, I'm working in the back loop only. So once again, not the 2 legs that I see, but the back one, not the front one that we did before. And so see that little ridge that formed because we worked in front loop only of the row we just finished? We're going to get another ridge just to make it look more leaf-like. So we're going to get that second ridge by working in the back loop only here. So we're going to do that by single crochet in each of first single crochet. So the chain 1 does not count as a stitch, as is often the case with those chain 1s when you're doing singles. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to continue working across, following the instructions for the third row. Let's see, there's my ridge coming up to go with the one below it. So I'm going to meet you at the end of this row and we'll talk about the next leaf. All right, I'm coming up at the end of that third row. And when I get to the end, I know that because I said that that chain 4 was a stitch, it replaced a treble. I know that it needs a treble in there. I can also tell that by looking at the diagram. I can see that there's a treble in that turning chain. But when I get to the end of, so it says 1 triangle made, so this is your first leaf, and that leaf is all done. But instead of ending off, I'm going to continue on and make the next leaf. So right here it says do not fasten off, repeat from double asterisk to double asterisk, so that's back here. So I'm going to chain 21 and do those 3 rows again. And then once, I'm not going to fasten off at the end of that, once 2 of those are done, I'm going to move on to these instructions. And then I'm going to repeat those twice more, so I'm going to have 5 triangles or leaves total. And at that point is when I'm going to fasten off. And when I fasten off, I think what I'd like to do is leave a nice long tail so I can sew that onto my soil. Once I have all my 5 leaves made, my 5 triangles made, and I have fastened off, I'm going to fold each separate triangle so that the last row of the work meets the foundation chain. And I'm going to do it so that these ridges are on the outside. I want to see the ridges. And so I'm going to whip stitch together right here and so that I have sort of a 3D spike going on here. And I'm going to put just a little bit of stuffing in there so they stand up nicely. And then once all those spikes are finished, then I can sew them to the soil. And as we can see in the photograph, so they're stuffed lightly. You want them to stand up and maybe even take a little shape. Maybe you want to bend them a little bit so that they look more natural. But you don't want them so stuffed that they stand up straight like unicorn horns, right? So then you can stitch those onto your soil piece and put them in your planter. Let's take a look at the leaf for the snake plant. Here's the picture, and we have the instructions both in text right up here, and of course we also have it in a chart form. The snake plant has both a small leaf and a large leaf, and I'm going to go ahead and do that. On camera, I'm going to make the small leaf now. The only tricky thing, the stitching is very simple, as you can see. The only tricky thing is working in both sides of the foundation chain. So I'm making the small leaf, so I did chain 16, and it says single crochet in second chain from hook. Now, I know that those of you who watch these videos all the time are sick of hearing me say it, but this is an instance in particular where it's going to be much better for you to crochet in the back or the bump of the chain rather than in the front of the chain, because since we have to go back and work on the other side, if we put that first set of stitches in the bump, it'll be so much easier to crochet on the other side. So we're going to single crochet in second chain from hook, 1, 2, there it is. Also, I've chained very loosely because I'm going to have to get 2 stitches in each chain. I absolutely do not want this to be too tight. Now, if you are the type of crocheter that has a death grip, this might be a good place to go up a hook size for your chain. Single crochet in each of next 2 chain. 1, 2, half double crochet in each of next 3. Next 3 chain, 1, 2, 3, double crochet in each of next 3 chains, 1, 2, 3, half double crochet in each of next 3, 1, 2, 3, single crochet in each of next 2. So I have 3 chains left. So it's single, oops, I split it. Let's try that again. Single, single, and then 3 in the last chain. 1, 2, 3, and that's going to take me around the curve. Right, there's my 3, so I don't, so I can get around. And now, once again, because I put my first half of the row in the back or the bump, look at these nice little V's I have ready to stitch back on the other side. So now I'm going to follow ahead. I'm going to single crochet in each of next 2 chains. So that's 1, 2, half double crochet in each of next 3 chains, etc. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to work on the opposite side of the foundation chain. And when I get to the end of this round, I'm going to fasten off this color, and then moving on to the D color, I'm going to slip stitch in the first stitch of the first row and work the edging by putting a single crochet where I'm told and a slip stitch where I'm told, and that's going to put the edging all the way around. So let's take a look at that on the diagram. There's our foundation chain, working around one side of the foundation chain, working back on the other side, ending off that color, and then joining that edging color in the first stitch and working all the way around. And that's all there is to the snake plant. We have both the small leaf and the large leaf charted out. Okay, let's take a look at the succulent. Now the succulent is made in one long string of stitches, and then you coil it up and stitch it on to the soil. So let's take a look at it in text, which is right here. And then we also have a diagram of the beginning. We didn't diagram the whole thing because it's a very long piece of stitching, but you get the general idea that the chain, the stitch, and the chain are all in the same stitch, and as you move along, they get a little farther apart to make it more interesting. So you can see here's my very beginning. I did the chain 71. So this is one of those things, well, I appreciate the diagram so you can see what you're looking at. I suggest you follow the text pattern because it tells you how many bumps, for want of a better word, to do of each stitch. And you see as we go along, they get a little taller, a little farther apart. So when you're finished with the piece and you're getting ready to stitch it onto your soil, you want to take the smallest bit, you want to take the beginning and coil it up. Again, yours is going to be much bigger than mine because I just made a little demo sample. But again, the interest here is not perfection and uniformity and symmetry, because a succulent's going to look like a succulent looks. Do you know what I mean? The leaves are not going to march in a little row and be absolutely perfect. So once you get your whole piece finished, fold it up so that you have it where you want it to be. And then I would take a couple of catch stitches across the bottom. You're not going to see them because it's going to be on top of your little soil piece. So just a couple of catch stitches through the bottom to make sure that it stays in the arrangement that you put it in. And then you can go ahead and sew the whole assembled succulent on top of the soil and put that on top of your planter. I hope you had a wonderful time learning all about the crochet succulents we have here on Yarnspirations.com. I'm Mary Beth Temple for Hooked for Life. Thanks so much for joining us. We look forward to seeing you again real soon.